Monte Carlo, one of the most expensive pieces of real estate in Europe. So it's an appropriate location to stage one of the most expensive activities in the world of sport, a Grand Prix. It will cost a team at least £10 million a year just to take part in the Formula One World Championship. To be successful will cost 3 or 4 times that. Everything to do with Formula One has a large price tag. A set of tyres costs £1,300. £100,000 for an engine. £750,000 to build a car. And that's before you count the cost of the drivers. To pay this massive bill, motor racing has turned itself into one gigantic billboard. The name of the game is a name on the car. In Formula One, sponsorship rules. Down the years, McLaren's marketing arm has found and indeed kept a group of major companies to sponsor its team.
We tend not to call them sponsors because that insinuates an act, a gratuitous act almost, a charitable act. We see them as partners or investors. They're making an investment. We believe we can deliver a significant return on that investment.
Very interesting contrast with Senna sitting quietly removed from the wheel in his car.
Every driver is has his own little way of getting in the car. Gerhard, our driver last year, would just get out of the car straight away and sit over by the wall or the...
Did the others know that he hasn't got into his car yet?
No, they wouldn't know, but I mean, they really are doing their own thing. You saw the way the engine was looking. I mean, nobody else exists.
McLaren has a different way of selling Formula One. We do not sell it on the basis of what it costs to run a team. To a degree, that is irrelevant to Courtaulds or whoever. They are not buying 2 cars, 220 personnel. What they are buying is global media exposure. We know, for instance, that each race is watched by 502 million people around the globe. That represents 1 in 10 of the world's population. We know that last year the Formula One World Championship got in excess of 7,000 hours of Formula One coverage. We know that McLaren got 25.4% share of that exposure.
Sponsors are notoriously coy about how much they spend. But McLaren know what they expect to earn from the available spaces on the car. Their asking price to put a company name on the unsold space of this front wing would be around $5 million. What does a sponsor get for such money?
What I think we get out of it is identifying Courtaulds with high technology, internationalism, advanced products, and winning. Both our customers and our employees. 80% of our customers are outside the UK. Some 45 to 50% of our employees are outside the UK. Those people need to see Courtaulds as something that is at the leading edge and worth being part of. This is a game that attracts a lot of attention all the world over, and it's identified as high-tech. This is where I want Courtaulds to be.
We've now been involved in this for some 50-odd years, and we're in it primarily for 2 reasons. Firstly, it enables us to put our brand in front of a very large international audience. And secondly, it enables us to provide our operating companies with communication stories that they can use in their advertising programs. We can talk to something approaching 500 million people 16 times a year. So that's a huge international audience where we can try and increase the awareness of our brand.
Tobacco companies sponsor all the top teams. It's advertising that escapes government health warnings. Tobacco's involvement with this glamorous sport is increasingly under fire. Critics say it sends a subconscious message to the viewer. This year, tobacco advertising was banned or restricted at 3 races. How does Ron Dennis, a non-smoker, justify such sponsorship?
We are promoting a brand name. We're not promoting an act. If you choose to do something, whatever it is, skydive, drive a racing car, go skiing, drive without a seat belt, all these things, I mean, they're legal in most places, and they constitute a simple human value, which is you are free to do what you want, and I think that's right. If people really genuinely feel that exposure to a brand name has some influence on them, then don't watch. I mean, have a choice. You know, turn the television off. I mean, I think that by and large people are watching the spectacles of sport, and that's what they're enjoying.
With sponsors' money so crucial to the survival of the team, McLaren lavishes a lot of time and money looking after them. On average, they will entertain 300 guests at a Grand Prix and offer them what they call the Formula One experience.
Monaco is probably the most difficult place to get any guests, or anybody else, team members for that matter. So we're going to try and make your day a leisure by getting this boat across. It's a simple 2 or 3 minute journey. You get off at the back of the grandstand, as we did this morning.
Great.
Okay, Steve?
Sounds good.
The most important thing we try to do for the guests when they come to the Grand Prix is basically trying to get them as close as possible to the action and as close as possible they can be to the team. A lot of people can go to a corporate event on their own, but we're trying to make them feel an integral part of the team and to make them part of the McLaren experience, as it were, to really capitalise on their involvement with the team.
Is that close enough for you?
Oh my God.
Former racing driver Jonathan Palmer is the expert on hand.
They're going to be coming down the chicane, down out of that tunnel there.
And they go.
They're going to be hard on the brakes. They're going to be going down. They're going to be coming out of that tunnel at 170 miles an hour. They're going to be hard on the brakes as they come down the hill, right down to first gear, and then left, and then right, and then accelerating hard, first gear, second, third, fourth. They go through that corner at probably about 120 miles an hour. It's one of the fastest corners on the circuit, and to give you an idea of the acceleration of these things, you can actually time it, but they'll be doing 30 miles an hour to 140 in about 6 seconds, something like that down there.
There's an awful lot of competition out there, a lot of competition in the pit lane. We're going to make sure that we're one step ahead of the opposition, and that's the reason I think that the return on investment is perhaps better with us, we like to think so, than with any other competitive team.
The competition is just as keen between races. Back at McLaren's Woking headquarters, marketing chief Akram Sami has a potential sponsor in his sights. He's keen to clinch a deal before the British Grand Prix.
I've done it.
Yes? Good. Very warm welcome to McLaren. We've got some guests of ours from the Baluchi company, which is a leading Italian maker of sparkling wines. The chairman of that company is here, Franco Ziliani, and his other members of the organisation. And the objective is to take Baluchi the next step. They're currently an associate sponsor. That means effectively that we use their sparkling wine products in our VIP hospitality all over the world. They are also a contributor financially. And our objective is to try and take them the next step, and they go into really fairly serious financial contribution.
On the factory floor, there is another challenge. So far this season, the cars have lacked speed. So for this weekend's British Grand Prix at Silverstone, the team are fitting a newer and more powerful version of their Ford Cosworth engine.
It's talking every time, it's just not giving the flash.
Yeah, right. Well, it's calling for the correct ejection time, the same ejection time as all the others. So, firstly, let's have the boot off and have a look inside the town.
There is a Series 8.
Norman Howell is McLaren's press and PR man.
And it is...
As he gets the latest briefing on the engine from Ron Dennis, he knows what his challenge is this weekend.
What Benetton have been saying, and parts of Ford have been saying, is that, yes, we would get the Evalve engine at Silverstone, but they would get that extra spec. And that press release went around last week, as you know.
One of Norman's jobs is to get the team noticed. If the cars are winning, that isn't too difficult. But even with the new engine, the cars won't be as fast as the Williams. So at Silverstone, Norman is planning an unusual initiative to get additional media attention. Ekram's team is equally determined to get the attention of their Italian guests.
They're just changing the nose over now, so we can show the Belucci people how the car will appear with their identity on the car, and we're doing it right now whilst they're going around the factory.
All I can say is no way that I can say to you, Malcolm, we can do a one-to-one mail on Sunday, Malcolm Foley with Ayrton Senna before Silverstone. I doubt if you can do it there. If you can grab him, that's great, but I'm still not in a position to say I can deliver Senna.
Yes, it's good. Yeah, it's a nice definitive logo, and I think it stands out well. Yeah, I think you'll see for yourselves the reaction will be very positive.
We was very impressed by the...
Small surprise for you. Yes.
Silverstone, the British Grand Prix. Here, tobacco sponsorship on television is banned. McLaren gets to promote its own name. This weekend's marketing initiative will be used to help Manchester's bid for the Olympic Games.
What we've got set up so far is that Manchester 2000 have agreed to appear on our front wing. We have Sally Gunnell, where we're chasing Kenneth Clark, Chancellor of the Exchequer. We know he's coming anyway. We know the government has backed this bid by Manchester, so it's only right that we should go for him, and hopefully only right for them to support us.
Meanwhile, Ekram's bid to win over Belucci is reaching its climax. The would-be sponsors have been driven up to Silverstone to meet Ron Dennis.
We've had a good discussion in the car coming up, and we need to just discuss with you the kind of terms that we've agreed in principle.
Ekram's sales pitch has worked. On the way up, he clinched the deal.
It's almost like...
Ekram and Norman would like to get as much exposure for the team as they can, but competition for coverage is fierce.
The Rain Man again, positioning him as the Rain Man. Senna needs worse to the weather if he's up to a centre for a order. But that's nice, eh?
You see, what our problem still is we're not thought of as a British team.
Yeah.
Lotus are thought of as a British team, obviously.
Yeah.
Williams are, but mainly because of Mansell. Not Damon, but Nigel Mansell. And we're not. We're something else. We're some sort of international hybrid.
Maybe this weekend's run with the Olympic logos will change.
This is a way of doing it,